This is my 2008 Volkswagen Passat. It has over 190,000 miles on it, and I've owned it for 5 years. As you can see, it's in a bunch of different paint colors right now, and that's what we're working on today. We're starting to get the body sanded, and we want to get this thing prepped for paint. So as you can see, we got a setup here for sanding. This here is a Bauer shop vac picked up from Harbor Freight, attached to our Ryobi random orbital sander here. Pick this thing up off Facebook, 25 bucks. And of course we have a respirator and ear covers. It's doing a pretty good job at getting this thing done. So we're smoothing out most of the footprint on the vehicle. And then we'll come in later with a sanding block to get all the nooks and crannies and really get this whole thing sanded and smoothed down. And then we'll wipe it down, we'll get it clean and ready for paint. So guys, this is the sanding setup. As you can see, we got some crazy plastic hanging up and over. We're focused on the rear end right now, so we're just really have that draped off for now. We got this little system going here for sanding, so we actually don't have too much dust. Little Ryobi orbital sander, picked that up for 25 bucks. Hooked up to Harbor Freight vacuum, and it's been doing a good job. Just got some general 5-inch sanding discs, and just starting to sand this down, getting it smooth, roughing out all the paint. We're actually scuffing right here into this clear coat. And then as you can see, as we go down the side here where it was originally painted, there was no clear coat even applied to it. So you can see that sanding looks a hell of a lot different here, and you can see the layers of Bondo starting to pop out. So we'll have to refinish this, sand it down again, get out all these really deep cuts that are in the paint. Get it at least all one smooth surface, and then we'll come in with some Rust-Oleum aerosol cans and just spray this car down, make it one solid color. So as you guys can see, we got a little bit of a sanding booth going on, with just some plastic overhead, just to keep out any of the dust that would be popping around. Thankfully, the way we got it set up, there isn't too much dust coming off the car, although when you put your hands on it, you do see it coming right off. But this is what we got set up. We got a Bauer shop vac here, hooked up to a Ryobi random orbital sander. Picked this up off Facebook Marketplace for 25 bucks. And then we got some of our 220 grit sanding discs here. Make sure you always have ear protection and, of course, a respirator when you're sanding down clear coat, Bondo, anything like that. We'll come back in later with a sanding block to get in all these little crevices all around the car, get down on the edges here. And then eventually we'll end up taking off the bumpers on both the front and rear, pulling those off to the side, and we'll sand those down by hand, get them all smooth, and then we'll spray them. This here is our front lip. Right now it's currently black. It will be body color, so we'll also be getting sanded as well. Currently, there is a rear diffuser on the car. Starting to sand it here, but for the most part, that'll be hand sanded once it gets pulled off the car. But for now, we're gonna sand what we can on it until we take it off. So when you're sanding a car, if you have any spots that you really need to get out, you wanna make sure you have a smooth transition between all the layers of paint, Bondo, primer, clear coat that have all existed in prior paint jobs, or just the car's existing color. So you really want to be able to feel a nice smooth transition between all of these. So you can kind of see how you stretch out the paint layers, right? And what that allows is for when you come in and do paint, you don't see any divots in your paint as much. Now, doing this unprofessionally, you know, it might not look great, might not look perfect, but however, it should still look pretty decent for what we're going for here. This car had been started to be painted. You can sort of see here on this side, it is gray, but this got all scuffed and scratched. And we started to sand out a lot of the major ones that were on the back here. That's why we have these 2 spots here on the back. Taping off the trim on the rear bumper here, just sort of prepping it for paint. Right now we're running 320 grit. We're just scuffing it down That way the paint and primer has something to grab. It's not going to be the best paint job in the world, but the car will end up being one color, which is what we're looking for. Nothing fancy. We're not a professional shop, as you can see. Eli here has done a subpar job, but it should do the trick.
What I did was I used this little pry tool and just came around the edges of everything, laid it down, tucked in the top of the trim, laid it down, used a little pry tool to cut the line, and it just tucks that tape right in there. So when I sand it, I won't be stuffing any trim. Yeah, that's right. There we go.
Good. We're getting in all like the little edges, little crevices and stuff. We're taking off bumpers. We're taking off the side skirts, rear valances, and that should let us basically get everywhere that's going to get seen, and anything that's going to get covered with paint. We'll leave blue. Here it doesn't matter as much to us, like inside the door jambs and stuff. Probably won't go crazy. Just sort of go in a little bit, sand that off. That way we can get paint in there. Yeah, so when you're doing this, so whenever you're working on painting your car, you're gonna want to tape everything off that you don't want to get sanded. You can use something like a trim tool, and then just sort of run it along the edge of the tape and sort of push it down back behind the glass. Don't go too far though, because you're gonna want to be able to just peel that off when you're done. But that'll let you get in nice and close along the edges and not have to worry about scratching your glass so much. You still want to be careful. You don't want to, sand this down too much because you will just burn right through it. So, yeah. But as you can see, we've got a large part of the car done. Working on the roof and along the edges here. Basically have the whole rear half sanded, pulled off the rear bumper, sanded down that, and it's coming together good. So paint should be in about 2 weeks, and we'll get this thing going into one color finally. We'll take it from this like Harley Quinn monstrosity to just being a single color, and then we'll get into painting calipers, we'll get into painting inside wheel wells along with all the doors, we have the new splitters, and all that. All right, so we pulled off the bumpers here in the back, starting to sand down all the edges, really get in up and underneath, especially in these little edges that you couldn't get to when the bumper was on. So that's pulled off over to the side over here. So we started scuffing this down, sanding it, getting it smooth. The paint was in pretty good shape, so we're really just sanding it down on here so we can get that new coat to stick nice. Not too worried about the stuff we won't see. Same thing, the rear valance that attaches to this here. Scuffing that down anywhere we're gonna see. For the most part, that's been primed and painted. There were just some like little areas that we should have taken care of, so that's what we're doing on that. This here is our front valance that'll be going on the car. It's primered, ready for paint, so that'll just get painted. Side skirts were on for quite some time, so they're a little rough, especially on the bottom here, so we will come back in, sand those down, primer them, and we'll get them ready for paint. This door here, we're not worrying about too much because, as you can see, it's kind of in some rough shape. It's got a cutout there along with some significant rust there. So we're actually going to go to the junkyard at some point and get that door replaced entirely, so we're not sanding that one down. But everything else on the car, we're sanding, getting it ready. We'll have to wipe this down and clean it when we're done, but this is just a good overall view of what the car is looking like. Started doing the hood here. So we had some like spots we really needed to sand down, get rust out of it, chips and all that. But for the space that we have and in the time we're doing it, it's coming out really nice. This side was previously painted. I probably mentioned that before, but we're gonna actually paint this car green and have some white accents, and I think it'll come out really nice for the time and money we're putting into it. It's a cool project, and we'll end up giving you guys an overview of the whole car since a lot of work has been done to it, including engine upgrades, suspension stuff's coming down the line, and the entire interior has been stripped. So you guys will see that soon, I'm sure. What do you want to do?
Hey, Mr. Toretto. I'm cool with him, so I just call him Dom. But, he was the one who I apprenticed under to learn how to tape.
None of this is making it in anyway.
Certainly. It's the shittiest thing I've ever seen in my life.
Now that might make it in.
What's this do? This is my first piece of like completely naked paint that I'm standing.
Oh yeah, on the front bumper.
Yeah.
I haven't touched the front bumper, so that'll have to get done. That's probably the roughest area of paint on this thing.
Yeah.
Like there's straight up just tons of clear coat being peeled off. So
What we do here, make it a little easy for us. We take our sanding block and line it up on the sandpaper. Use a razor knife and cut our outline out. Now, here's the tape. Take the tape, fold it around your block, and then tape the back side of the sandpaper to your block. Just one more secure. So now you have a nice tight fit as you're sanding along.
we are not going for perfect, we're going for one color. And honestly, that doesn't look too bad. And neither does the mirror cap. It looks pretty decent, honestly. I mean, it needs to be resprayed. I just dropped it. You can see the line there in the white. But other than that, the green looks pretty good. Little white trim. That look pretty good. All right, and so another endeavor with this car is going to be getting a new door that will then need to get painted. We'll have to do this because otherwise the car will never be one color, because I wasn't gonna paint this door, but you can see right in here, yeah, never use those little jacks that come with the car, because you'll jack up the car and then it'll slip and it'll just tuna can your door. Don't even ask how it did it here, I have no idea. But now we got proper jack stands and Harbor Freight jacks in the back. So make sure you use those. Don't use the little shitty things that Volkswagen sells. So I've started taping up the car here. So what I did was I took the painter's tape, ran it on the inside, and then I cut out a piece of plastic that was roughly the size. Pressed it up all along the edges here, followed it around, and then I traced it. I chased it with a knife all the way around the edge, but just very lightly. So I just got like the edge of the plastic. And anywhere I did poke through, I just put some tape over it, making sure not to, you know, cover up any of the areas that need to get paint. However, this part's gonna be under the bumper anyways, so it doesn't matter a whole lot. And really, I'm not painting the underside of this. It's really just so when you close the car, like it's all one color. I mean, this car is kind of a piece of crap. It's like fun and it's funny to drive around in, but like you go inside and it's not like there's anything worth saving. So, you know, it's like, you'll open it up, you'll see blue, but like, who really cares? Because it's going to be really funny when it's done. We'll have to do an entire episode on what's going on in the engine bay. Right now it's covered by a bunch of plastic, but we'll get to that. Yeah, we'll stay to that.
Not doing this in close control mode, unfortunately.
I mean, we're in nature. Than that. I don't know. It's supposed to be like a few inches back. Alright, so painting's coming along. I think we'll have about a 70% success rate, probably less. You know what? I've seen a lot worse.
I've seen people put plastic in their car in the blue and it looks terrible.
All right, guys, so we worked on the car a little bit more today. We got the front bumper, the fenders, rear valance, front valance, as well as a respray of the rear bumper. You can see the rear valance there up on the wall. Got the rest of the car taped off, so that's including all the doors. As so here, all the windows, around the mirrors. Even got in on the sunroof a little bit. So once we wipe this, I'm gonna make a spray. Honestly, that looks pretty good. It's a little trippy.